Is this the greatest backstory of all time? Is Rox D. Zembek the greatest One Piece character Oda's ever created? We probably got answers to that when it comes down to this chapter, and it culminated this great storyline. So let's talk about chapter 1165 because it was another banger. It starts off with the GOAT. Trafalgar T. Law is back because a fan wanted to see him. It really begs the question, when are we going to get this Mad Lad back into the One Piece story? And is my theory that he's going to team up with Kobe correct? Because I think it is. Let's come on. The chapter starts off with Garp and Roger hearing the voices of all things. Well, that's the speculation anyway. They hear Rox's voice and they seem pretty uncertain of the circumstance. The reason why this is important is because this might be the very first time Garp and Roger experienced this phenomenon. Now, is this embedded into their biology, into their history, into the D attached to their name? Or is this something that was passed to them by extension from Emu? I don't know. I'm just speculating. Speaking of speculation, let's come back. Miles, our boy, the biggest One Piece guy on the podcast, he had a great theory. I recommend you guys watching the podcast to see the full theory, but just to paraphrase it real quickly, he thinks the answer to defeating Emu and potentially reversing the Dom Reversi is the voices of all things. So, will Luffy become a bigger threat than we expected in this arc? We shall see. Now we got a lot of filler moments, oohs and ahs from a bunch of side characters, a bunch of henchmen. That doesn't really matter because we got to get back to the action, which is why when we saw that Garp and Roger are ready to throw down, matter of fact, they had a truce together, a truce between two of the goats of One Piece. That really begs the question. Now let's talk about it. If we're being honest, one of the criticisms when it comes down to One Piece is they do not have compelling rivalries that transcend the series. When you compare it to Naruto, when it comes down to Naruto and Sasuke, it's night and day. But dare I say, Garp and Roger, despite the short exposition, is the best rivalry in this series. And if we got more drawn out story between the two, this could be one of the greatest rivalries in fiction, period. We get to see more people trying to escape this chaotic situation, and we're actually just seeing that the Rocks Pirates is imploding in real time with everybody basically going their own separate ways. And the two most prominent figures, other than Whitebeard, we'll talk about him in a second, is Big Mom and Kaido, talking about their exchange, talking about how Kaido punched her and got this devil fruit that made him a fish dragon, talking about how Big Mom is pissed and she wants her get back. You owe me a favor, and that they will return, or Big Mom will return to collect on that favor, which basically is telling us that this is the reason why Kaido allowed Big Mom to help him in the first place. Or this could be something else entirely, maybe alluding to another part of the story we have yet touched. I'll say this might hurt a lot of One Piece fans' feelings, but even though I'm glazing Oda and One Piece, I'm also objective. Big Mom and Kaido is a fumble. I'm sorry to say. They're such big characters and I just don't think Oda executed them correctly, or at the very least as correct as possible when it comes down to Big Mom and Kaido. Their defeat is kind of underwhelming. The whole lore behind Big Mom taking out these giant villages was kind of underwhelming. I still don't really understand why Big Mom and Kaido are the way they are, considering they're such important villains for the series. And nor do I know really anything about their lineage or how they became so ridiculously big and strong. I just expected more from these two characters, and I just doubt we're gonna get anything more. But who knows, maybe Big Mom will return back to the series, get amnesia, and decide to help the Straw Hats yet again. Who knows? Now let's get back to Whitebeard, because he's also there, the Mad Lad, the best of the three individuals, if I say so myself, and he meets someone. Who does he meet? Polo Graham. He must look familiar. What about his face, his hair, his head shape reminds me of another character? I think you guys can guess who I'm talking about. So we basically got the confirmation on how we officially got Marco Polo.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Shout out Oda with the dad jokes. He loves to have fun. Another exciting moment is seeing Dragon look at this guy, realized his failures because he absolutely failed in this arc. He lost 2 babies. Lock in, Dragon. I get it. You don't have your devil fruit. You don't have any abilities. You're a brand new Marine. But damn, L's beyond L's. Well, that's probably what inspired him to change his ways so dramatically as he threatened another Marine, decided to take these people into safety, and a couple of them must look familiar to you because this is the beginning of the Revolutionary Army, and this is going to be the dawn of the most dangerous man in the world. I wonder if we're going to get a similar type of backstory for the origins of the revolutionaries. Yes, we got some story about how Koala or Sabo, and now we're getting some instance of how Ivankov and Kuma joined the revolutionaries. But we still got to see what made Dragon the most dangerous. We still have to see what made Dragon such a badass in the first place. And of course, we got to see the reason why he looks east all the time in the first place. Luffy's mom and Luffy. Do you guys think that amongst all these people that he saved, one of them is Luffy's mom? I don't know. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Imagine one of them being a celestial dragon. Imagine Luffy's mom being a celestial dragon. That'd be kind of crazy. Like, oh, a celestial dragon was escaping. She ended up on this ship by accident. She hates them. Dragon and her eventually come to terms. She changes her ways. How are we feeling about that little theory? Let me know in the comment section. Speaking of the comment section, we are midway through the video, so I do hope you guys are enjoying. Like the video if you do enjoy. Comment down below anything that you agree or disagree with me in the comment section. And if you want to make this a competition, if you're team Roger, comment down below. However, if you're team Garp, like the video. Let's see which fan base is stronger. So we get some important exposition on this event, why it was hidden in the archives that is the One Piece lore, because this event is too important for the people to know about. One, a big black monster got really creepy and a lot of people got very scared. Shout out Emu. Two, they don't want anybody to know anything about the Davy Clan and Rocks and affiliation to one of the most notorious crews, arguably the most notorious crew in One Piece history. And three, I wonder how much they want people to know that the Celestial Dragons got saved by a pirate, Gold Roger, and the fact that the hero Garp and Roger teamed up is a known thing, but they don't know the extent. So this is a secret, an important secret that was amazing to see, I'm not gonna lie. And this secret was kept between these two men, Roger and Garp. As they look at the situation taking place, they reflect upon this entire scenario, the evil within the world government, noticing that this is a problem, and Roger even extending a hand to Garp saying, "Why don't you leave?" And we finally got a very compelling answer. Something that a lot of us already knew, but it's good to have confirmation. The reason why Garp never left the world government, despite knowing how evil it is because he wanted to stay to protect the Marines. That is the reason why he stayed. A lot of us Garp fans already knew this because we knew that he must have had a grander vision on staying the entire time. He believed that he could change it his own way, which is why he created his own organization in Sword. So when it comes down to this explanation, him wanting to protect Marines, I think it completely satisfies any negativity that was aimed at Garp's way. It's understandable. It makes sense. And he realizes that he is one of the few people who can actually stand up to the corrupt nature of the world government. One, knowing their secret, and two, because he's a goddamn powerhouse. So all Garp haters, stand up, salute, and apologize. But these are all words. It doesn't really mean anything. They got a big villain to defeat in Rox's demon form. How are they going to do it? Well, they talk about it. They talk about consolidating their mass. What in particular are they referring to? Well, hockey. It seems more specifically it's Conqueror's Hockey, and maybe the official translations will clean this up a little bit. But the basic idea, from my understanding, is that they're going to consolidate their hockey into a very, very fine point, kind of similar to the idea of gravity consolidating until it makes a freaking black hole, to the point where they're strong enough to go past his Conqueror's Hockey. I'm talking about Rox's Conqueror's Hockey, and able to blast right through it. Now, will this work against other Concrete Hockey users? I'm guessing that it will take a collaboration for like Luffy, for example, to use a ability or technique like this to defeat someone like Emu. 1-to-1, it doesn't make sense to me that Emu can lose to Luffy's Conqueror's Hockey by itself. But if you have Luffy and you have Zoro, and hell, you may have your entire fleet and all your friends, including your enemies, Blackbeard, it might work. Just like as we see the final clash here ends with Roger and Garp doing their final technique, realizing they have to put their all into it. Garp using a technique that looks very similar to Luffy's abilities, and Roger using a technique that seems to be named, I can't even say after, before his son, Ace. And this seems to be the end of the historical clash between Rox and Garp and Roger. Let's be very clear, when this gets animated, it's going to be one of the most entertaining fights in One Piece, period. That's all we got for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this new style of One Piece video, or video in general. If you do, you just gotta support what we got going on here, so I know that I probably should make more videos just like this. Hope you guys enjoyed. You have a good one. Take care. Peace.